Okay. Hello, sir. I'm going to complete ADOC number 10. So let's get started. Um, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So today that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the first worksheet. So I'm going to zoom out. So here, basically, ADOC number 10 is centered around the if function. It's centered around the if function. So that's the function we're going to work on. Going to work on the if function. So let's go ahead. So the if function allows us to test a logical to perform a logical test and to display a certain result if that logical test like is passed, is successful, or to display something else or nothing at all. If the that result is that result is not successful. So that's what we're going to do here. This is a simple example. So I'm going to write equal if here, for example, let's say the score, let's say, for example, we want to score a passing score of 70%. So we're going to write here and we want to display pass. For example, pass to mean that the student passed the exam if that score is equal or greater than 70%, or this, the cell will display fail if that is not the case. So let's go and write um, this should be greater or equal to 70 and display pass if that's true, fail if that's not the case. For the parentheses and year we have failed because 57 is less than is not is less than 70. So we use the autofilando to get a result for the other ones. So this is basically like how we use the if function. So we're going to move on to a couple of to other example to see how we can deepen our understanding of that function in Excel. So here, what we are asked to do is in the inventory notice column. That's it. That's the column which is highlighted here. We want to display low if inventory level percentage is below 10%. Um, Otherwise, leave the cell blank. So we go ahead and write here if the logical test is that the inventory level percentage should be to display a low if inventory level percentage is below 10%, below 10%, 10%, below 10%, it should display low, it should display low. Let's go ahead and write low. If we want to display a cell blank, to display a cell blank, we just have to use those quotes here, quote, beginning quote, and ending quote, and just close it. We get the result here. This is less than 10%. All those those three are greater than 10%. This one, 7% here is less than 10%. The same thing with 9% and 8%. So that's basically what we have to do here. Now, moving to the next worksheet, um, here what we have to do is that we want to reward these salespeople a bonus of $5,000 if they manage to sell over $4 million. Those who did not will receive only $1,000. So here we're going to use the if formula. If those sales people manage to sell over $4 million, so the sales should be greater than 4 million. We want to give so if the sale number is greater than $4 million, they should receive $5,000 in bonus. Or if that's not the case, if value equals, then they should receive only $1,000 here. They should receive just $1,000. So here we have it. So here you see that the first one said so $3 million something is below 4 million, so they receive $1,000. The same with the second one, but for the third one, this one is said is still $4 million. So you receive the $5 million. So that's the over our threshold of $4 million. So it should receive $5,000 as a bonus. So moving to the next worksheet, no mics. So here the ASS requires us to create an if function formula in cell B2 that here that we exclude only Ryan or any other Ryan for being invited. I got you, Corinne, then copy the formula down to fill column B. Okay, so here we're going to use the if function here. View the if function. The logical test is that we exclude Ryan, so we don't want to invite them. So for example, we say that if this cell equals Ryan, x value Ryan, it should not be invited. So uninvited and mean invited or invited. But if that's not the case, it should be invited. Should be invited. Here he is invited because his name is Bill. That's not Ryan. So that's basically what we want. We want to exclude Ryan from the guest list. We are going to use the fill and autofill endo to. Okay, basically everyone here is invited. There's no Ryan in the list. So that's the answer reason. So now we're going to move to the next worksheet, bestseller worksheet. Going to zoom out a bit. So here we have what? In the selling status column, we want to display bestseller if the average sales is more than or equal $1,000 or below expectation if the average sales is below $1,000. So in the selling status column, I'm going to write in the first row, I'm going to write in the first cell equal if the logical test is that if the average here is average sales is more or equal $1,000 or equal $1,000, should be bestseller. And that's not the case, it should display below expectations. Below expectations. Should display below expectations. So let's see what it gives us. Here we see what we have. Below expectations. So this one, the first one is 800 something, which is below $1,000, the average. So it is below expectation. The same thing for the second one. But for this one, it is $1,000, 100 something. It is greater than $1,000. It's over that, so it's a bestseller, and so on and so forth. Let's go to Kaboom. final this worksheet. This will be a bit challenging. Um, so insert here, what we have to do, the first thing we have to do is insert F20, F20, which is this cell here, set F20. Enter an if function that will test whether the order quantity is greater than 0. If it is, return the value of cell E20 multiplied by D20. Otherwise, return no text by entering double quote. Autofill this formula from over the range F21 to F25. So let's go write if. The hypothesis is that if enter if function that will display whether the order quantity is greater than 0. So the other quantity here, this one, is it greater than 0, which is 1. This is 1, so it should be greater than 0. That is the value. If it is true, what do we want? We want cell E20, which is this one, multiplied by D20. G20. Otherwise, we want the cell to remain blank. Like I said, double quotes here, and we close. So here you see that for those ones we have 0, we want those to disappear. So probably those will be the blank cells. But let's go ahead and say I use the autofill end up, and those disappear. So here the quantity is greater than 0, which is 1. So we get the charge, that is the price times quantity. The same thing here, because quantity is greater than 4, and here as well, because it's greater than no, it's greater than 0 here, which is, and the quantity is 4, and here the quantity is still greater than 0, so we get the charge. But here we have nothing, so instead of displaying $0, we want the cell to remain blank. So next thing, insert F28. F28, this one, enter the if function that calculates the discount only if the order is greater than 200. Insert F2. You see F cell F12 for the current discount. So let's go write if function. We want the order total. The order total, which is this one, the subtotal here, is greater than 200. We want to compute the discount. The discount will be that same amount, the subtotal, times the discount percentage, which the instruction says is F12, which is this one, the discount percentage. Otherwise, we're going to leave it blank. So let's say we're going to leave it blank if that's not the case. Okay. So here we have the discount here. Because the subtotal of the order here is $207.46, which is greater than $200 threshold that which is mentioned in the instructions. We're going to calculate the discount. So that formula helps us do that. But if it was, for example, $100, we're going to get discount here, which is blank. Discount here, which is 0. There's no, the cell will be blank, and after discount amount will still be the subtotal because there's no discount here. We're going to pay full amount. Insert F32, which is this one. Enter the if statement that displays the correct shipping charge. If the entry is cell C15 is overnight, a charge of $10.99 will be made. Otherwise, the standard charge of $5.99 will be made. Refer to the range E15 to F17 for details. So let's go right here, if here. Okay, so we want if the entry in cell C15, which is this one, C15 equals overnight, equals overnight and the value that we want to be displayed here will be the overnight shipping charge, which is this one. Otherwise, it should be this one, the standard charge. So we close it and we get 599. So here we display the standard charge here. But if we go here, because there's nothing written here, but if we go, we write overnight, you should go to 1099, the shipping option. But if you write um, standard, should be 599. So that's basically how it works. Let's go to the Assassin's Creed and function here. This one is a bit weird. I don't know how to deal with that, but let's hope that everything works out. So here, what we want here we want to insert D3, which is this one, to create a new function that will tell you if the value in cell D6 says let these people go, then the family doesn't die, and if the cell does not have that in it, displays the family dies. So this is basically a binary choice in video games. So in the video games, so right here, a function, if cell D6, what do I write here? If D6 equals, if that cell displays says let this people go, these people go, and the family doesn't die. That's basically the family. If she says the picture, and the character in the picture says let these people go, the family doesn't die. So that's why we're going to write here the family doesn't die. But if that's not the case, she doesn't say that the family dies. Family dies. That's what it says here. The family dies. If it's correct. So here it's read. We have an automatic result, which is the family dies. But if you go here, like we did in the previous example, and we write, let this be who, let me see, let these people go, the family doesn't die. So you get the idea here. That's a bit how we can use the if function here. So let's move along to the next one, my blood test. So in cell D11, this one, we want to display low if the result in E11 is below 140. Otherwise, leave the cell blank. So equal if display if the result E11 is below 140. Display low. Otherwise, leave your cell blank. Okay. So that's what. But if, for example, the second thing we have to do is how will you alter the formula to have two conditions in the logical test that are E11 is greater than 0 and also below 140. So this one here, that formula, it comes just for the second one. Here we come for the fact that E11, the result should be less, it should display, we should have a result in the set that is display low if the result is less than 140. But if we want to, let's say we want to display low if the result in the cell is less than 140, but also greater than 0. So for this one, we're going to use the n function here, another conditional function. So we're going to write it here. This is what we call an embedded function, double function together. So here we want, the first condition should be E11 is greater than less than 0. The second one should be 11 is greater. The first condition is 11 is less than 140, but 11 at the same time is greater than 0. So we write here 0. We close the end function. So it should display low. Otherwise, it should display. Okay. For example, here, let's say I write 3 is low. If I write 150 is high. If I write here, for example, minus how to find that? Okay, but if here I write minus 1, which is less than 0, minus 1 is less than 0, it is less than 140, but not over 0. So I'm not going to get low here. So let's move on to the next, to the last one, to the last worksheet. Here, let's say that, for example, I have a test and we want to determine, like, let's say the passing rate again is 70%, equal or greater than 70% for the test. And if everyone pass, let's say the teacher has a challenge. So if 70% 70% of his class pass the test, he will engage like in evidence. He will break them for them. So let's say so this, I think it's pretty straightforward. I will break dance. Okay, let's say equal if this one is greater than 70, similar rate greater or equal 70, it will break. Yes. But if that's not the case, it's not if the percentage of students who pass the test is not greater or equal to 70, then the challenge here, no break, no breakdowns. So teacher ridiculing itself. Okay. So now we have no breakdowns, but let's say 90% to test, you see it moves to breakdowns. But if you have 70% here, let's say the professor is still going to breakdowns because it's equal to 70 and 90 is over 70, so it's the same thing. But if we have 69 here, no breakdowns, less than 70. Say I write 69.5. Let's say I write here 70 breakdowns. If I write 69.99, no breakdowns. Okay, so this is basically everything I have here for you on the task, on this task. So here I'm going to stop this video and I can see adopt and then is complete.